Hello friends, this is MV Pitman Cross Sim Racing. I'm your host Marlon, and today we've got another unscripted, unedited video just for you. If you recall earlier, I received a spacer for GSI wheel, and I actually have it right here. This is the GSI Max 32. I said if a bunch of people asked, I'd do a review on it, so I'm working on that. But I'm very happy with the spacer. It's lightweight. It's 50 millimeters. It's got a lip, so you can bolt from either side. Although on this one, you can see I bolted from this to the threaded holes and then from the spacer into the spacer. But of course, if you have a NRG style quick release, then you would have to bolt from this side. So it's a really necessary item for a lot of things. I liked it so much, I bought more of them, but one of them came with this really terrible packaging. So there was a, I wouldn't call it an error on my part for sure, but they failed to package it correctly. So I was looking around and I said, oh, another GSI spacer. And so I thought to myself, I would love to have gold on this spacer. So GSI makes spacers that look like this. Before they made this style of spacer, they made one that was not quite so round in the middle, a little straighter, and you can find them if you look around. And I was looking around and found one on eBay, gold. So if you're familiar with this wheel, this is the Pokorny GTE Pro version 3. It's all DIY. You can't buy it pre-built or build to order. So if you are looking for a Porsche RSR type wheel, this one is great. If you want something with 6 buttons on the front, it's great. If you want 4 thumb encoders, it's great. If you want gold on your encoders and funky knob, then it is also great. In addition, the plan is to remove this spacer and put a gold spacer on it, and then maybe get even more gold with some perhaps gold everything. But you know, the paddles coated in brass, not gold, are still pretty expensive. So anyway, the problem I had last time, which I started to talk about and then didn't, was that the packaging was just messed up on one spacer that I got. So I'm hoping that in this case, I'll have a spacer that is packaged well, but I thought, what a better way to do things if I just share them with my growing audience. So, cutting this open in a place where you can't see, and hopefully cutting toward myself less often. Safety first, cut away from yourself and retract your blade when you put these things down. So, got a box here, open it up. Packaging's pretty minimal, but my guess is that there'll be a spacer in here, hopefully wrapped in some sort of paper to keep it from bouncing around. And if you guys are familiar with the GTB Pro that I have, there is a need for spacers on that as well. You don't always have to put a 50 on there, but the rim, sometimes if your rim is dished or if your rim isn't flat in the middle, you have to add a spacer. So the person who was able to offer me this spacer, you can see this is packaged great. Foam on everything, gave me some extra screws, but I got a 5 and a 10 millimeter spacer as well. So I'll show those to you first. And you know, a 10 millimeter spacer doesn't weigh very much, but you know, nothing ships for free, so you gotta figure out when to get those. It's nice to have those on hand, just in case you switch your button box or create a new wheel setup, and you just need a minute adjustment. You know, not all spacers need to be 50 millimeters. Let's see if we can get this open enough for you to look at. So this one looks like it's about 5 millimeters. This one looks like it's about 10 millimeters. So you just pass a bolt through each of those, and you can make your spacer a little taller or just use a smaller spacer if you don't feel like stacking. So these were packaged in the most excellent way. I am very pleased. And of course, star of the show, this gold spacer. So also well packaged. Bravo, eBay user whose name I will not disclose. Yeah, I am super excited. Cut away from yourself. Remember that. Always retract your blade. Remember that. My name is Gambit. Remember it. So it looks like I got some of the very expensive threaded, I forget what you call them, captive screws. So I'll demonstrate those to you really quick. These things, man, GSI charges like $18 for 6 of them. No, will not pay. If you need to make some captive screws, get a file and a drill and just cut the part of it off that you are not going to use. That is my advice. But if you buy them, and you know, I'm not gonna bag on you too much because I bought some, and actually bought more than one set in anticipation of needing them. So if you have a threaded hole that goes into a threaded hole, you need a captive screw so that you can go into the hole without. Sorry, the reason I'm looking this, and I'll tell you in a minute. If you have mated threaded holes, then you need a captive screw that has threads. See if I can hide my face. There we go. Threaded screws put threaded holes, lets you screw through one part. And you'd probably actually do it in the opposite direction of this, but you can screw through one device and then the threads give you some room to wiggle so that you can add another threaded device and not mess up the threads on the 2 devices that you're connecting. So it would actually go in the opposite direction, like this. Ooh, looks like someone left a washer there for me too. Nice. So the weird thing about this spacer, on the new GSI spacers, threads are not alternated, meaning all the threads on one side are threaded, and then, sorry, all the holes on one side are threaded, all the holes on the other side are non-threaded. What this does, this is the older style, and I'll compare them so you can see. These are, sorry, I apologize for that. On this spacer, you have threaded, non-threaded, threaded, non-threaded, threaded. So every alternating one is threaded. This one, if it's threaded, you can drop a screw through it, right? If it's not threaded, you can't. Drops, you can't. Drops, you can't. And I think it's that way on both sides. So drops, you can't. Drops, you can't. So this is interesting in that if you have a device, you really only need 3 bolts to connect a wheel. It's plenty strong, especially if you're using something like aluminum. But like you said, if you have something like this one that's threaded on one side and then not threaded on the other side, it can be difficult if you have a spacer that has alternating threading. So something like this is actually pretty useful, and I think when I exchange it, it'll be a little different. But if you look at these, so I'm gonna find a GSI logo. The GSI logo is in the orthogonal orientation. So you can see the GSI here on the gold spacer, but on the, there you go, on the other one, it's across the middle. It's a little narrower there, a little more hour shaped. This one is a little more I-beam shaped. So yeah, got a spacer, it's gold, it's great. Alternating threading, great. Came with captive screws, great. Packaged well, great. Got extra spacers for 5 and 10 millimeters, great. This this movie is great. 5 stars. If you believe this video had 5 stars, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Maybe I'll keep making more. And eventually, we'll get to the point where there's thumbnails, where there's additional content, where there's exclusive content, where there's reviews, where there's things that you actually want to see instead of me just telling you about things that I have. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and I'll see you in the next one.